And whether you find listening to music so pleasurable you get chills, or you absolutely despise a song, it can produce absolutely fascinating effects in the brain. According to Levitin, music we enjoy triggers the brain's internal opioid system. Yes, opioid system. And just like the opioids that come in pill form, these chemicals make you feel good and help relieve pain. And music you don't like? Well, that releases cortisol, the notorious stress hormone. But that's not even the half of what music can do in the brain.
You turn on the lights.
When former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was shot in 2011, the left side of her brain was severely damaged, leaving her struggling to speak, a condition called aphasia.
Gabby, are you frustrated?
But to get an idea of just how powerful music's effect on the brain can be, watch this video.
You ready? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it
That word that she had been struggling to say, light, came easily in song.
Why would she be able to sing a word when she's unable to say it?
What we know about the brain is that the left hemisphere controls language, and there are many other parts of the brain that have music access.
Music therapist Megan Morrow's job is to help patients use those other pathways to regain language.
Sometimes I compare it to being in traffic and you can't move any further, but you might need to exit and take a feeder road to get you to your destination. So music is basically like that feeder road to the new destination.
Like a detour. So we know that music can help us relearn things like speech by accessing alternative pathways in the brain, and that learning to play music can help strengthen brain connections. But what about making music?
So for me, music is like, it's the language of humanity. No matter where I go in the world, no matter, man, if I'm playing something, it doesn't matter if someone can't speak the language and they're into it, they're into it.
This is Xavier DeFrepeles, better known as Fantastic Negrito. We brought him to UCSF to meet Charles Lim, a neuroscientist who studies musical creativity.
The Duffler's up next.
To understand how Fantastic Negrito's brain works when he's making music, Dr. Lim had him play one of his songs while going through the fMRI. So how did his brain respond? The areas that process sensory and motor skills, along with sounds, lit up. You can see them here in red and yellow. Makes sense, right? But here's the really interesting part. Lim asked him to improvise to see what happens when he's creating something totally original.
It's like Star Wars in my head. It's like Star Wars in my head. I don't like this crazy sound. Makes me feel like I can't get down. Stop.
Now watch what happens to his brain. The areas that were active before, the ones that deal with motor skills and sounds, are even more active. But see how there's way more blue in the front of his brain? That's the prefrontal cortex, and it's associated with effortful planning and conscious self-monitoring. And it's blue because it's less active.
We see that the prefrontal cortex appears to be really shutting down in these moments of high creativity, kind of like letting go of these conscious self-censoring or self-monitoring areas that normally are there to help control our output.
And Lim says it's about more than just letting go.
You view it from the perspective of survival. If human beings only could do memorized rote responses, we'd be long gone. And it's not just the thing that happens in clubs and in jazz bars. It's actually maybe the most fundamental form of what it means to be human, to come up with a new idea.
Travel, and we travel, trying to find.
So, music is so much more than notes on a page. It can change the way we think and speak and feel. But is there a limit to what science can tell us about music?
Just when I discover the answer to one thing, 5 new questions pop up that are more interesting than the first, and I've gained an appreciation for how complex the music making and music listening system is. It's not demystified for me at all. It's more mysterious than ever.
La la la, la la la, la 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 la. No, the people.